Welcome to Just for Moms. I'm Charlotte.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Megan.
And I'm Kallie.
We are regular moms
talking about regular stuff like
aging, parenthood,
work-life balance,
and figuring out what's for dinner again.
A no-judgment zone to talk, laugh,
and maybe cry about all the things women think about on a daily basis.
Ready? Okay. Mm-hmm. Welcome back, Just for Moms. I'm Megan. We have Caitlin, Charlotte, and Kallie. How's everyone doing?
Oh, good. Just peachy.
Dandy.
Great.
You know what is my pet peeve is when people will be speaking at a conference or something and they'll be like, how's everyone doing? And people will do what we did and be like, fine. And they'll be like, come on.
Yeah.
You can do better than that.
Because what do you want me to say? Like, bad. I'm so bad today.
The worst. Unless the audience is like 7 years and under. Yeah, I don't appreciate that either.
No. Yeah, we do it as kids and adults, right? Yes. But the weather, the sun's shining. It puts me in a good mood, gives me some energy, right?
It helps.
Yeah. Okay. It does. A little. All right, let's get right into it. I want to chat about this whole 6-7 thing. Okay? I don't know if it's happening in your house. It started this summer. It's still lingering in our house. Do we know what it means? Let me just start by saying I asked each one of my kids before we recorded today, and I actually should have. I can get it again, their responses. But Ava straight out told me, she's 15. She's like, my parents don't understand it. I was like, well, what is it? Why is everyone saying it?
So I'm sorry. We need to back up because you forgot that I'm 1,000. Is this like a lingo or is this an app? What? Okay.
Do we say it's like a meme? Would you is your kid saying the 6-7 thing in their house, Charlotte?
It's like lingo. And as I understand it, and maybe you're going to give the derivation, but I think it was literally a throwaway some athlete made in an interview that was like, you know, they play like they're 6'9", but they're really 6'7", something like that. And for whatever reason, it is just taken over. And so any reference, if it's 67 degrees outside, if it's 6 about to be 7 o'clock during the night, like I think the reason kids balk is that there's no explanation for why it's so viral, because it was such a silly, it wasn't like some big famous person said it at a big famous time and a big famous occasion. It was literally something, I think Paige Beckers did it at in a press conference. I think there's been a few notable people that have maybe drilled down on it. But yeah,
somebody use it in a sentence.
Context? Yeah, I'm confused.
Like Nico will be like, that's so 6'7", 6'7". Okay. And like when I was even making his, like every day he gets off the bus and I make him the same boring chicken tenders frozen. And I'm like, Nico, how many you want? 6 or 7, you know?
It's usually, you would be surprised how common 6 and 7 come together.
And you're just supposed to call it out and be like 6'7", like that's
the kids do. The kids will do that. I saw a TikTok of a teacher who gave her 5th graders a test, and the answer to every question was 67. And she didn't tell them, but they have been, like if you're a classroom teacher, you know that everywhere you look, 6'7", and it's like a tick that they all have now. And she said it was funny watching the kids like slowly realize that every answer was 67.
And I love that I brought this up because I had a feeling Kallie didn't know about this.
I don't know about it other than I saw someone post on Facebook in a parent group, why is this banned from being used at blah, blah, blah school? And I was like, what? What is this? And I'm like, I don't care. I didn't even look it up.
Banned.
Yeah.
I saw another teacher whose call and response for the kids to quiet is that she would say 6 and the kids would be able to be like 7. And she was like, there can't be anything after that. Like, that's it. You're done. No laughter, no commentary. So I think middle school teachers are having fun with it.
Wait, can I just point out that every time Charlotte says it, and this is the highlight of my day.
You have to. That's the part of it, right?
That's part of it. Is the
It is in my house. It is in my house.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna ask Annabelle.
Yes,
but
please.
41111 is the new one. 41 is the new one. I
okay.
asked why. No one gave me an explanation.
Okay,
but just that you heard it here first.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now
I'm
we're
nervous.
so trending.
I'm nervous for you to even ask Miles, Kallie, because I feel like it's going to open a bad can of worms. But I'm like, yeah.
I think it's older kids because my
I don't think
elementary
he's old enough.
schooler,
Yeah.
it's not coming up for him. I mean, he probably knows what it is because it's been mostly, to be honest, my 8th grader. And I think part of it is like she appreciates that it's this stupid thing that's funny, but then you do it enough and it becomes routine.
Habit.
Yeah.
And then my 6th grader caught it from her. And I think she doesn't know if it's cool or what. So she just does it.
Yeah. So I Googled it and it said refers to a popular slang term originating from a 2024 hip hop song. I don't know. That's what Google said.
Oh, well, maybe the guy I thought it was a
Yeah.
press conference. This shows maybe he was quoting the hip hop song.
What song?
So,
Or vice versa.
Who
yeah.
knows?
Yeah. So anyways, moving on from the 6-7 chat. Do we have any mom fails this week? Charlotte, any mom fails in your house?
I feel like there's a mom fail brewing. My oldest child at home is on the freshman football team. And it's our first experience with like public high school sports. And it's a lot. There's just a lot. We get emails from the booster club. We get emails from the coach. We get emails from the athletic director. We get there are so many emails about this team. And I just can't read them all. I think today's a game. Like there's a dinner. Like we're meant to be helping and like there's so much. And it's just overload. And so I'm sort of in this turtle mode where I'm not opening or reading any of them. And I'm just hoping that my husband will read them because he's into it. And I love my son and I love the sports and I support it and I want to watch him, but I'm going to drop a ball because there's too much. So that's my preemptive fail.
It's coming.
Yeah. Kallie, do you have any mom fails this week?
I do. I forgot to pack my son a snack. We talked about it in the last episode that my son, now that he's in public school, has been doing hot lunch. It's very exciting, but he still needs a morning snack. And then because I wasn't packing the lunch, I forgot the snack. And then I realized it at like 11:15 in the morning. And then I had just had mom guilt the whole day, envisioning my child like going to his backpack at snack time and everybody else eating a snack and him not having one. And like, you know how you like let it fester in your head. And then of course, when I picked him up, I was like, hey, I forgot your snack. He's like, yeah, it's fine. I wasn't hungry. And I'm like, oh, I'm glad. I was so sad about it the whole day. Just picturing him like so sad, everyone else eating snacks, his
Just
stomach
weak.
rumbling,
Weak with hunger, head on his desk.
That's cute.
Yeah. So anyways, but it was a good thing because now I said, you know what, Miles, I think it's a good idea that when you grab your backpack, you always check and make sure there's a snack because you're old enough, you are 6 and you can make sure that there's always a snack. So it was good for all of us.
What did he say when you said that to him?
Okay.
He's
a firstborn. I mean, he's
Yeah.
like, absolutely, that sounds great, Mom. I love it. Is it a rule? I will follow it. Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caitlin, do you have a mom fail?
I mean, by the time that this goes live, it's not going to be back to school anymore, but every year the elementary school, the middle school, everything has back to school picnics. I think did I say this in 2 episodes ago? I didn't go to the ice cream social. Did I tell you guys this?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Hot yoga.
Familiar, but
Because you had to go to yoga.
oh yeah, because you had to go to yoga.
Yes. Okay. Well, this is a little different. Every year there's a back to school picnic for the lower elementary and the upper elementary. And every year we can't go because it's on a dance night. Well, it's tonight. It's a dance night. And my middle child is just beside herself that this is now my 3rd year. Wait, actually 4th year that I can't go. And why can't we go? I'm done with dance at 5:45. But the real reason we can't go is because now her older sister is in a different school and has dance and we can't leave her. So it's a fail on me that I'm not going to split myself up and drive you over for 45 minutes to hang out and make small talk with people I don't want to talk to. And so she's mad and she's probably going to be mean to me when she gets home from school, but it is what it is.
She'll get over it.
It'll make her hardy.
I don't know. Yeah. She's spiteful. My middle child holds on to like being mad at you about stuff, and she'll punish me for this for a good week.
Well, just every time you feed her, you can be like, remember that time I fed you?
It's a good point. Okay.
So my mom fail, and I've done this before. I'm getting back into things here with after school activities. My girls' dance studio's up the road and they can walk, but they don't some days because they're just lazy. And it's not big enough. So then they had to get another space down the road. So there's one space in town and one right up the road. So I get confused a lot, even though it's in my calendar about which one they need to go to, because it's probably a good solid 10-minute walk from one to the other, not long. But Gianna got all upset with me because I brought her to the wrong dance studio, and then she didn't want to go in late. And I was at a birthday party with Nico, and I feel like you, Caitlin, she was like, she called me, and I'm like, and the first thing she says is, "Ma, you brought me to the wrong studio." And I'm like, "Well, I'm sorry, but you can check the schedule too, and help mom out." You know. And she's like, "Well, I can't go late, so I'm just not even going to go now." And I'm like, "Just walk down the road, Gianna. 10 minutes is nothing. We're late sometimes when we try hard. Who cares?" So she was like really mad at me that I brought her to the wrong studio. And I text her the schedule and was like, "Mom sometimes needs help." So
Yeah.
oh, to Ava and her, like, you can look too. So
Yep.
my fault, but like help a mama out here, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to remember all the stuff.
Hundo P.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, okay, moving on from our mom fails. And this week's topic is modeling digital behavior for our kids. And, I know. And right off the bat, I just thought of my cell phone. Right off the bat. I'm sure there's other things we could go into, but for me, the digital behavior of just being on my phone. And I will 100% admit, I do not model good behavior all the time. And I don't like it. I try, I do think about it a good amount of time where, Megan, you need to be off your phone. But, I do work on my phone. I don't go on my computer a lot. I do sometimes. But so if I'm sitting, with the kids after school, when they're eating their snack and I'm on my phone, usually it is when they get off and home from school. If I try not to be on my phone unless it's like work related, like I doom scroll maybe at night. But a big part of me does not like cell phones at the dinner table. So I feel like that is a huge personal just rule in our house when we're eating, that there is no phones. So I feel like that is hopefully good behavior that my kids will do with their family as well. And it bothers me too, because I feel like it's so important to be present. But again, it's just such a pull to be on these phones. It's a hard balance. And I just, before we go into everyone's thought on this topic, I wanted to share that I got invited to this event with Mel Robbins and Verizon this past summer. And she talked about 5 tips for phone life balance. And I found them so interesting, and all of them would model good digital behavior. So I'm going to try to be as brief as possible, but I thought it was really valuable to help other parents. So the first one right off the bat is, it starts with you. Instead of pointing fingers, your kids will learn your habits from you. So you are the one, mom and dad, to model it, and hopefully they will do the same. The second was, be curious, not controlling. Step into their perspective rather than stepping on it. Phones a direct connection to friends. Ask questions instead of judging to create open communication. Number 3 was, let them lead the way. Sit together, name your concern, and solve it with them. Have you thought what you want to do about this? Working with them builds confidence and trust. Number 4 was 2 daily habits to practice every day. No phones in bed and no phones when you sleep. This is the hardest challenge and change to enforce as a parent, but it sets boundaries. And then the 5th one I love is create a Rockin' Family group chat, which I thought was just a fun way to end it, where, we have this in our house, and then I have one with, my family, and then I have one with friends. So it's just like a fun way to connect with them. So I just thought that was, really, those tips like really hit home to me. And it's, and again, it shouldn't be hard to be on our phone, but I have a struggle with it. So let's start off the bat with Charlotte. How do you handle this in your house?
I mean, I set a terrible example. I will say that the slippery slope for me, I'm never on my phone just like scrolling through social media unless it's like 8:30 at night and I'm off the clock and it's like in lieu of watching The West Wing or something. So I'm never just sitting in the kitchen with the kids milling around, just like bopping around. That said, there is often a computer or a device out, and I'm sort of talking to them as I'm editing a photo or, whatever it is I'm doing, sending emails. So I don't think I'm very good at giving them full attention, like sitting there, eye to eye contact, knee to knee. And that does make me feel guilty. And then something comes up and I just sort of move on and I say it is what it is. We have our phones, the kids in our house that have phones are like, it's locked down. So they can't have it in bed, and they can't use apps. They don't have social media. So, they found some workarounds, but the stuff they're doing on their phone is like talking to friends or texting or listening to music. And so I'm less worried about like that. And they do have homework and sports. So it's not like they have a lot of time to just sit on their phone, but there's no question that I don't know. I could definitely be better, but I also think I'm modeling like I work hard and I'm busy and doing things like all the things that I want them to do instead of being on their phone. I do think I'm modeling that, if that makes sense.
Yes. Caitlin, what's your thoughts?
I never really noticed how much I was on my phone until I think one of my kids pointed it out, something like you carry around your phone everywhere. And then they pointed out my husband is always scrolling. It's funny, you just said like don't point fingers at something, and I just lately I just want to tell him, you are always like, if you're not working in front of your computer, if you're not having a conversation with one of us, then you're standing there and you're mindlessly scrolling. And he'll say it, he'll acknowledge that he does it later, but he'll just get so caught up in or the, group text with people and looking at his behavior. He hasn't listened to this, so he won't know that I'm just, saying this. Looking at his behavior has helped me take a step back over the last couple months and really stop scrolling, like when I'm walking through the house, like, and I'm carrying laundry, scrolling and just like, what am I even looking at? And I'm not on social media doing like things like I used to do anymore. So there really is no purpose in me. It's not like I'm engaging. I'm just watching garbage. So there's that. I've consciously tried to stop doing that, but something that's kind of unavoidable is I listen to books a lot now on my phone, and I put AirPods in and I'm doing it while I'm cooking. I'm doing it while I'm cleaning. And so my kids are always appearing out of nowhere to talk to me. And I'm like, hold on. And I have to take, an AirPod out or pause my phone. And they're like, why are you always on your phone? I'm like, I'm listening to a book because you're watching TV in the other room.
Same.
Daddy's watching sports in the other room. What am I supposed to do? Just sit here and cook dinner with my own thoughts? No, I'm allowed to have something else going on in my mind too. So I've had to explain that to them a lot lately, that I'm not I'm listening to something, and I'm not watching a show. I'm not texting with a friend. It's straight up a book. And if, it's only because I can't sit down and read it because I'm making you guys dinner. So,
yeah. And now I saved Kallie for next because I know she's like really strong about this topic here. And so Kallie, what's your thoughts on modeling digital behavior for your kids in your house? Because I envy you with what you in your dumb phone. So
Callie's like, I lock up my phone in December and I pull it out for one day in October, and that's it.
That's it. No, and I realize when I talk about it that it comes across annoying, and it's not ever how I want to be about it. Like,
No,
it's
I don't.
just a lifestyle choice that we have made as a family. But yeah, my husband switched to a dumb phone 2 years ago. Basically for the same reasons that a lot of people feel. I mean, phones are addictive, and we can't pretend like they're not addictive. The apps are designed to be addictive. All social medias are designed to keep you watching them. That is the only way they make money. And I think we all know that. I mean, I'm not like spewing anything that's crazy. Um, so they are addictive. I have been addicted to my phone before, and I didn't like it. And I just found that it wasn't, I, I slowly weaned to the place of not having, like, not using a smartphone anymore. It wasn't something that I just like my husband was just like, I'm done with it. And he switched. I went slowly. And so I started with like just small mindful things. So, I have very little kids, and especially like when I first started doing it. So I would put my phone away in a lock box. Like, I would really like lock it away, or I could use a drawer, it could be upstairs. And I would do it for like the time between when they woke up and I would get them to daycare. And then I would do it again, usually around 4 until they were in bed, because I just found like it was just competing, especially with really little kids. Like, it was just competing for their attention. It wasn't fair to them. It wasn't fair to me. Like, it just was too much. But the process of sort of like peeling back some of that, I just realized more and more how much I liked not having it. And I hated how addicted I was to it. I hated how like completely reliant I had convinced myself that I was on it. And so I just like slowly peeled. I was like, well, what if I don't have this on it? What if I don't have this anymore? And I just realized like I could live without a lot of this stuff. And I have enjoyed living without of it. Like, it helped that, my husband went first. And so he was able to navigate life without a smartphone. Um, so yeah, I mean, but again, this is a choice that we made. It's not like I am out here like saying that it needs to be what everybody else is doing. But what I've realized is that even just doing a little bit is a big difference. And so that's what I preach now. Like, maybe you put it away for an hour every day, and you just like have that time that you're doing it. Or like Megan, like you said, like as a family, we don't have phones at the table. I think that can be really helpful in just having sort of simple rules. I mean, I don't have kids at the age where they are on screens yet, so I have not needed to navigate that yet. I will cross that bridge when we get there. But I mean, the discussions come up. I mean, even the other day we were outside and my daughter was like, Mom, I want to see a picture of like I don't know, woolly mammoth or something. And I was like, well, I don't have my phone with me. And she's like, well, where is it? And I was like, I don't know. It's inside somewhere. I don't bring it outside because I don't like having my phone outside. And she was like, well, so and so, I'm not going to like name names, so and so always has their phone with them. And I was like, that's just how that person does it. And, so I think some of it is just like so many other things in families. It's just, Megan, if you say, well, our family we don't use phones at the dinner table. That's how our family does it. Other families might do it different. So yeah, I mean, that's just where we are. I mean, it's not a huge issue for us, I guess, to navigate currently because we don't have the phones and we're not on them, so we don't have to worry about it. We have my husband and I both have a computer in our offices, and obviously my laptop can move around with us. But I don't know, just as you strip away some tech, you just end up stripping more and more away. So
I've often wondered how I would have played it if I had had little kids I mean, we had phones, but they weren't as scrollable. Yeah, like Instagram wasn't even around. Facebook was a thing, but it just was different. Like, you were scrolling through and someone was like sitting at the dinner table. Like, there wasn't, because I think I would have been much more sensitive to that if I had little babies if I was ignoring little babies. Something about ignoring like older kids that are in the other room and like not around and not needing me feels a little different. And my husband's the same way as yours, Caitlin. He's taken social media off because he did find himself scrolling so much. But if he's on his phone, the kids will be like, Dad, 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 Dad. Like, he's gone. And I will say that is not my experience with it. Like, the kids, I do find that I can like, and not that multitasking is a good thing, but I just think that it's like if they come in the room and are like, Mom, what time is dinner? I can like be looking at a phone and say, we're eating at 7:30, it's tacos. So I'm still sort of I'm not quite as distant as like he is when he's in his scroll. Again, that's like a moderate excuse, and I own that I'm on it too much, but
Yeah.
I wonder what I would have done with my phone if I had little kids and social media the way it is now. I think I would have felt the same way you do, Kallie, is like I just need to put it away.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really hard right now because my children will say, oh, I want to. My friends are all in a group chat, and it's like dance friends, which I know you and I've looked at the conversations. And Charlotte, you talked about this one time. Like it's literally them saying hi, 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 hey, hey. Like there's nothing going on there. But I have started taking in the last 2 months my children's iPads away. I hide them. They're not allowed to touch them. I just don't. We had an incident where I hadn't checked in a while and I missed some things that happened on one of my children's iPads in a conversation. And that was just eye opening for me. And so now I thought I was monitoring all of the conversations and I missed it for weeks because we were on vacation and I wasn't looking. I didn't think anything was happening. And so now it's just locked down. And if you want to talk to somebody, then you could talk to them at school. You could talk to them at dance. We are getting a landline, you could call them up on the phone if you got to ask them a question, or I'll contact a parent or something like that. And it's not just social media and scrolling. It's also this, they want to be able to communicate with people the way that I do. I need to call my sister. I call her on the phone. I need to ask her, I need to ask a friend a question. I send them a text. And there are things that especially my oldest, something about sports now that we're doing this, she might want to ask someone on her team. And so it's tricky. I just like want to lock it all up. And now we've entered the Chromebook era and they all have Google Classroom and they message each other on there. And I'm like, I can't escape.
The texting thing has been interesting for me to watch because you're right. My sixth grader doesn't have a phone yet, but she wanted to be part of these group texts. And so my phone number is the one they use. And at that age, there's such a sense of like, I don't know if it's a gauge of popularity or belonging, but these kids create a group text with a different iteration of people like every hour on the hour. And there was one when they got their like group at school, there was a text, and that, that's like 40 people. That's too much. Then there was one from there's so many that she's part of. And what she has learned, like at first she would come in and be like, Mom, can I check my phone? She'd get on it and she would just like, LOL, like she was in it. She was on all these group texts, posting. And slowly over the summer and over the last few months, I've noticed that she thinks they're just as boring as I do. She has no interest. She's appreciating that there's no purpose of a group text with 40 people on it. It serves no whatever. And I don't read the text, but if I'm on my phone, I see them pop up. And every once in a while, I'll see something pop up that's like, ooh, I hate that or whatever. And it's often like, I don't like that teacher or whatever. And I will say, I try not to read them, but also I do see them. And I don't love the way like anything in a text that can be a screen grab and that's around forever. If they want to tell you that at lunch, that's one thing. That's how we communicate. But I said, it makes me nervous that some of these kids are talking in negative ways. And so it has been a nice way for me, like no stakes because it's not her. And it's not like, I have the right to read all these, but I have chosen to sort of let it slide because I know that it's LOL, KK, 6-7. So it's been interesting because I do think when she gets her phone in a couple of years, she won't be quite as enamored with it. And she'll just be like, okay, this is a tool that I can use to talk to my friends.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping too. That, that the screen grab thing is a really, really big lesson that was learned. And I'm really proud of her because it wasn't words she said. And that doesn't go away. And, that's and that goes as like taking photos and what my kids see me taking videos and photos of, because I send that to somebody, it's gone forever into the world. And I want them to see me, being responsible, doing things that I think that they should do. And so that we've had a lot of conversations about that lately. I don't know if the digital age can refer to like television too, because I've noticed I used to just binge watch TV shows in my bed at night, and my kids would come in and I'd still be watching. And recently I decided I was going to stop doing that because I noticed that they would want to do the same thing. And I'm like, did I teach them that? Did I just like show you just lay around and watch a show for 4 hours, especially over the summer when nothing was going on? So I've tried to stop. And if I'm going to do that, it's like done in secret when they don't know I'm doing it.
Yeah. For our house, with the school, we talked about this. I think it just last episode, mom brain already here. To keep up with, it's on me, Charlotte, with the sports stuff. I don't know how I got that responsibility. Joe has like no clue what's going on, who's going where, what day. So you could literally sit on your phone all day with the emails and the apps and the text change and the WhatsApp. There's so much for each sport. It's sometimes I'm just like, I got to step away. And I had the same attitude as you, where if I mess it up, I mess it up. I just can't take sitting here and reading one more thing. And then it's like, we have a tournament, and then it's like, who's bringing the snack? So I feel like you have no choice sometimes to be on our phones, which is like sad, but it's just our world now, unfortunately, is just this digital life. And something else I just wanted to point out is having two teenagers, 13 and 15, they do dance and sports. And I feel like they're so happy and like different kids, because if they're not doing that, they're like, they just want to be here. And that bothers me. Where they're younger, like Nico's 8, he'll go outside and shoot a basketball. He'll play in the yard. But having these teenagers now, they don't really do crafts anymore or want to go outside and play. So it's like, in the summertime, I feel like it helps because, I'll be like, we're going to the pool, we're going to the beach. So they're off their phones. But if they're not at their activities, they're always on these things. So it's like, I don't know. It just, it bothers me. And it's on me to, let's go out and like on the weekends, we're getting off our phones. Like, why is it always that topic? So that's just my two thoughts there on those two things that happened at our house. And something I sent to Kallie, which I wanted to get everyone's opinion on, was what's the phone, Kallie? What's the
landline?
Yes, thank you. The landline. So landlines are coming back, and Caitlin, you brought this up too. And
somebody else brought it up. Charlotte, did you bring it up in the episode, or Kallie?
We've always had one.
Yeah. We talked about it. I feel like before we took our summer break, we talked about the resurgence in landlines. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's making a comeback. I saw it on today, and these group of moms, they didn't want to get their girls' phones yet, so they all got landlines. And it talks about how it's great because you're not texting, and it teaches the girls to like speak and have conversation versus just sitting there going back and forth. And they have a set time and a set day, and they all have these landlines, and I've been seeing it everywhere. So what's your thoughts on, you already have one, Charlotte, right?
We love it. And we have a little address book next to the phone with like friends and family, people that wouldn't mind getting a random call. Some kids do it more than others, but it's fascinating because at first, you're right, they didn't understand. Like someone would call and I'd say, oh, it's your grandmother. And I'd hand them the phone, and they would take the phone and just like listen. And it's like, you have to say, hi, who's this? Like there is a little bit of that formality that they don't understand. So I love it. I think it's a very sweet, innocent way to spend time. I love it.
It's so funny you just said that, Charlotte, because my kids will ask me something that they want to ask a grandparent. And so now I tell them, well, you can call them. And they're like, well, how? And I'm like, you can call them on your iPad because it connects to the Wi-Fi, and they have their phone number so they can dial it, but they're holding this giant thing and talking to it. So if I have my phone and I say, grandma's on the phone, she wants to talk to you, they're like, put it on speaker, and they're like, hello, like holding it so far away, hello. And I'm like, no, you put it to your ear. You talk up like this. So the landline is on my to-do list. It's happening. I'm excited for my kids to be able to call their grandparents and learn how to hold a phone up to their ear. But, I remember so fondly stretching the cord out and going in the kitchen pantry and calling my friends and chatting about the day. And, they do forget how to talk and have a normal conversation because they're either in school and you don't really have, I mean, at lunch, I guess you can have a conversation, or, they're saying, hey, hi, and then sending an emoji to each other. So,
Yeah.
Our high school has just gone no cell phone. That It hasn't started, but in October they're going to put their phones in a bag in the morning and they get it back at night. And
that's what our town's hoping to do next year.
it's amazing. The principal announced it, and I know there's some squeaky wheels, but there was applause in the group that I was with, and he was like, I know there's some of you that are nervous, but he said, what I have to tell you is that the kids can always get a hold of you. We have the office. And he said, if there is an emergency, because most parents go immediately to what if there's a mass shooting or something. And he was like, in those situations, having all of you on cell phones is the worst thing that can happen. A ringing phone can alert, there's no positive
or everyone's distracted by calling and not doing what they need to do.
The first responders can. Anyway, he was like, I know that, and if that's how your brain works and that's what you're worried about, he was like, I guess I can't help you. You shouldn't have a cell phone in those situations. But I didn't realize that in high school they could have it like at study hall and at lunch. And if a group of kids have phones at lunch, they're not on it. Like in middle school, they can't have it at lunch anyway. But I was delighted. And my kid, because he's a freshman, he doesn't know any better. Like he's never had it the other way. So it's all good. But I'm delighted. I think it's the best decision.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
I love what you talked, I didn't even really fully think it through all the way, but about how it teaches kids to have conversations more, because a text conversation is so different because you can think through it all the way. And it's just you lose some of the conversation. When it's not face to face, there's no you can't read their cues and their facial cues and all of that. And I just have never liked having conversations on text anyways. Even if Michael and I are chatting, I'll be like, can we talk about this tonight? Because I feel like we're gonna lose things in translation this way. I have a best friend. We get together I don't know, every other month or so for dinner, and I will not have a conversation with her on text. Even if something really big has happened, we'll have a little chat and I'll be like, okay, we literally have a notes that we've started, and it'll be shit we need to talk about, and it'll be socks, so-and-so's breakup, the book that I read, because it's so much better to be able to talk about it when we're together. And we don't lose so much of the conversation, where if we had just texted about it all, then I don't know, we would just lose it when we were.
You lose the emotional impact too. There's so many
and the
things
back and forth.
Yeah, and it's hard to read. I mean, you said about your husband. Half the time Brandon texts me, it's sarcastic. So I don't even know if he's being serious or not. Yeah. And he could be completely joking, and I read it and I'm like, shoot, he's mad. What did I do wrong? But he's kidding. Yes. So texting is fine for, I text Kallie once a week and I'm like, hey, this book is good, but to have a really important conversation, or, I think texting somebody big news is horrible. Telling somebody you're pregnant, call them and tell them on the phone, hear their excitement, just that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I want my kids to not be texters.
Yeah. And to know how to do it. Yeah. I remember there's a whole, I don't know where I saw it, where it was people are nervous to order at restaurants. People are rehearsing. I forget where I read an article. People rehearse before they go through drive-thrus, or if the app isn't working for them to order their food, they won't go in and order. Yeah. They have even just they can't even just verbalize what they want to eat, because they've done it's these Gen Z who have never had to do it. They've been able to do everything digitally. It's they'll before they go through the drive-thru or before they order their food, they're memorizing how they're going to say it in their head. I know, it's just crazy.
Did you see that viral video? And I related to it so much because I've made my kids do the same similar thing, where this mom asked her kid to go in, and I don't know if he was picking up a pizza or buying something, but they pulled up and she was like, you can do this, buddy. And she gave him $10, and he went in, maybe it was a 7-Eleven, and he bought his Slurpee. And they talked about you're going to go in and you go, and he went in. and he did it, and he came out like skipping, floating on air, so delighted. And I feel like maybe even she went in after and thanked, like, it was so heartwarming.
Yeah.
And you forget that like, that's not part of these kids' experience
No.
anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I remember biking around the block when I was like 7, and
Yes. No, there's an entire organization. You know the guy who wrote The Anxious Generation, Jonathan Knight? He's part of the people who founded it. It's called Let Grow. And the whole concept is that, like, we kind of like micromanage our children a little bit. And there's all these things that kids can do. Like, he talks about that. Like, your kid can go into the grocery store and buy a gallon of milk. Your kids, and they literally on their website, you should check out the website. It's great. I think it's letgrow.org. They literally have these things that you can print out, and it's like a little card. And it says, like, I am not lost. Like, I have permission to be here by myself. Because I guess as people have been doing this, like, there's people like calling, like, there's a child at the park by himself and he's only 8. And it's kind of this whole idea of that, like, your child should be able to walk into the 7-Eleven and buy the food or do the thing or walk down to the neighbor's house to return whatever without. So I don't know. It's a good.
That's crazy. You just said that. I used to live in another town and we moved when I was 7, and I would walk to the penny corner store alone.
Yeah.
And buy stuff. And I don't
better.
Yeah.
That nasty candy with like the wax that you would eat and squirt. Yeah.
Yeah. Fill up a whole bag, go up there and pay. And I feel like my kids, I mean, I think I've made Annabelle go in and buy stuff, but I can't imagine my 9-year-old going in. I mean, maybe that's what we're going to do. I'm going to pull up to the gas station soon.
But how much of that is because you're worried what other people will think, and how much is it is that you're worried about your 9? Like, I've had that thought consciously a lot, which is like, I remember sending my oldest 2 blocks to our local library, which is like this historic, beautiful library. There's like 4 people in the building at any time. There's very little worry of like stranger, whatever. And she would go and hang out in the kids' room, and I would send her there. And I remember getting a call from the librarian. Someone had ratted her out, and she was like, she's not allowed to be here alone until she's like 12 and up. And I was so disappointed. I mean, I understand it if you're that institution, but I was like, she has to cross one street at a stop sign.
Yes.
She's 2 blocks away. Like, I felt like this was and she was so delighted to be there alone. I didn't want to sit in the library.
Yeah.
No.
So it is tricky.
Yeah, some of it definitely is I mean, they have whole on the website, they literally have like a whole thing about your rights as a parent. And like, because people who do this have gotten literally, like, the police have come and they're like, if the police comes to your door and they say that you're neglecting your child, like, these are your rights. Like, you don't have to be upset. They're at the end of the day, they're just looking out for your kids, and you should be thankful for that. But like, these are your rights, and your kids should be able to do these things. But yeah, I mean, you do worry about it. Like, we had my son the other day picked a bunch of herbs and he wanted to take them to his neighbors. And there's a couple neighbors, like, I can't see him going there. He's 6, but like, they're on the street. They're neighbors that I know very well. And I was like, I feel like this is a good first thing for him to do. But there's this part of me that's like, if other people see my 6-year-old walking alone, like, what are they gonna, but again, small enough community that I'm like, we know all the neighbors, so it's like not going to be too crazy, but you worry about what other people will think, which is such a bummer. We have gone on such a tangent. I'm sorry.
I know.
Well, no, I mean, it's a huge, I mean, it's,
we could talk about it for hours, right?
Yes.
We will get into pits and peaks. One last thing it made me think of me. So, you know, the meme where it's like, if you're texting someone and then they say, can I give you a call? And some people don't like that. I am that person that'll be like, hey, can we, even through email, if it's work, personal, it's so much. And like, the tone of the email sometimes might come off wrong, but when you pick up the phone and talk to the person, or FaceTime or Zoom, whatever it is, it's just better. And maybe it's my, millennial coming out, but it's just better. And I feel like I hope my kids do the same thing. And then I want to go around and get one tip. If you had one tip for modeling digital behavior for our kids, one thing that came to mind. Mine is no phones at the dinner table. Caitlin, what's yours?
I don't know. I would say no phones at the dinner table too, but I don't know. Yeah. I mean, just if there's literally no reason for you to be on your phone, then go plug it in and walk away from it, and get a landline. So if somebody needs you, they call you there.
Yeah. No, that's a great one. Kallie?
Yeah, I would say like having a set like every day, and maybe it can get bigger and bigger for you if you start with 45 minutes where like the phone is just not around. As somebody who's done it, like nothing is going to happen. Like you are going to be fine if you don't have that phone for an hour. Like it's cool. So like have an hour or 2 hours or 5 hours, whatever works for your family, where there are no screens allowed for that period of time.
Love
So
that.
we all pull out our paper bags.
Charlotte, what's your tip?
This is such a lame baby step, but I try to consciously, like if I'm on my phone and the kids come in to talk to me, I try to I put it down. That
Yep.
seems stupid, but I try to
No.
put it face down.
Yeah,
and, like,
face down makes a difference
Yeah.
though, because if
Yeah.
someone's
No.
texting you, you don't see
I love
it.
that. I love that, Charlotte. Anything they want to tell me, I feel like maybe you told me anytime, no matter what it is, even if it's like, I will look at them and listen. And even if you're like, oh, wow, even though it's not a wow.
Well,
Yeah.
spend a day with my toddler and my
Oh,
middle child
God.
when she's on one, because the two of them will talk without breathing
Yes,
for
I have one of those.
15 minutes
Yes,
straight.
same.
You have to look at a phone or you're going to
Okay.
just die.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Pits and peaks. I'll start. I have a pit. I have a pit. Gum went through our laundry 2 days in a row. I knew who it was. We have a rule on this podcast that sometimes we don't name names. I'm not naming any names. And it was annoying and it got sticky and it was on my clothes. It was on the side. It's annoying. I had to pick it off with a knife and scissors, and I was lazy and didn't check the pockets, but I feel like that's not my responsibility. So that's my pit, is gum in the laundry. Charlotte, what is your pit or peak this week?
It's like a peak, but it's also a pit. So I don't know. So I have finally kind of come up for air, and I'm looking at this house, which we are just every day we're loving it more and more and more. But there's so much that I want to do. Some of it I can, some of it I need a lottery ticket to do. And so like the pit part of it is that there's just not enough time in the day. Like I want it all done tomorrow. It's exciting to see it come together. It's exciting to begin to picture like I want this room this color and I want this room wallpaper. That cannot happen overnight. And so it's like this constant tug of like I want to do it now. And I just physically, financially can't. So that's, I mean, listen, I don't know how you call that when it's like a peak, but a pit all at once.
Yes.
Kallie?
I have a pit that I feel like was a pit like from an episode before we took a break, and it just hasn't remedied itself. And it is that between my 3 youngest, somebody is always awake before 5:30. And it's like they never all of them or 2 of them. It's just they somehow like perfectly take turns doing. I don't know. I just first it was like
So early.
it was my 4-year-old first coming off of like school going into summer mode. Okay. And then she finally got it. And then like the baby was, who knows, it's a baby, she's teething or something. And then all of a sudden my 2-year-old was like having bad dreams and he was waking up like scream. And like, it's like, they're just taking turns. And it like, I just, that time in the morning, like that's when I get groceries. That is the time that I do those things. And so I'm just like, just so overwhelmed by it's just, there's always someone. Like literally this morning, 5:03. Text Michael, I was like 5:03. Just it's a fine because I'm already awake, but like I just
Still, I get it. It's
Yeah,
my
that's
time.
your Kallie
it's my time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like the equivalent, Charlotte, Megan, of like your kids coming and bothering you from like 8:30 to 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
Like that's when you're doing your stuff.
Although I do have to say that's when my teenagers, for whatever reason, does this happen in your house? They come in the room at like 10:30, 11 and like want to like
have a deep conversation.
Yeah, or like ask you for things. And I'm like, can you ask me in the morning? Like, no, I don't want to do this right now. Why is it now?
So it's just all the time.
Yeah, no, it is.
My kids bother me. It's just going to shift. It's fine.
Yeah. Caitlin, do you have a pit or a peak?
I have a peak, but when this comes out, I mean, it's going to be over. So my birthday is next week and I'm turning 40 and had a problem with it, but now I don't. And that's a whole other episode. But we're having a party and it's like a high school, like we used to have parties at my parents' house in high school. And so that's basically what it is. So I'm really excited about it.
Love that.
So fun.
That's cute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thanks for joining us here at Just for Moms with Megan, Charlotte, Kallie, and Caitlin. We'd love for you to leave us a review and your honest opinion. And we do read them. Actually, Caitlin is usually the one to see them. So
Kallie too,
thanks,
apparently.
Caitlin.
And Charlotte.
Me just recently.
I haven't looked at them
I
in
realized
a long time.
people are leaving us reviews. Thank you. That's so nice.
Yeah. So bye for now. We'll be back next week. And that's it.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.